Yeah, g'day guys. I thought I'd just do a quick demonstration of one of these cheap electric hydraulic car jacks on my Kia EV5. Now, these are never going to be a good enough substitute for a proper bottle jack or a scissor jack or most other type of manual jacks with a wheel brace, but because the EV5 doesn't come with a proper spare, I'm aware you can get emergency spares for the boot, but I've decided to go down a different route and do what I basically did on all my cars for the last 30 years, which is arm myself with a puncture repair kit, and within a few minutes jack the car up, take the wheel off, inspect the tyre, find the puncture, plug it up with the special plug kits. They're very inexpensive, they're very easy to use, and as long as the puncture is just round like a nail or a screw, it's not a slash, and or it's not in the wall of the tyre like here or even on the corner, as long as it's just in this area and it's just a basic puncture, which I've only ever had punctures along here, the puncture repair kits are perfectly fine and perfectly safe, and it will save you a heck of a lot of money going to a tyre place, and it will also save you a lot of mess and mucking around and expense if you use the supplied mobility kit, which basically just fills your wheel with goop. That goop hits oxygen and turns hard and basically makes itself a plug and stops the air coming out. So that's fine as an absolute backup, and I will still be carrying the mobility kit with me. But as an alternative, and before we get to the mobility kit stage or even roadside assist, I'd prefer to try to fix the tyre and the puncture myself and be back on the road with a perfectly safe tyre. So anyway, I looked at these things. It's been a while since I've bought tools and bits and pieces, especially car related stuff. I looked at these cheap junky looking things. I looked at a few reviews, and I was quite surprised at how surprised everyone was at their function. So I thought, what the heck, I'll go out and get a kit. The kit I purchased includes the jack, which has a compressor built in, all just cheap stuff, but it actually seems pretty good. I have used this once before this video. As well as that, it comes with an impact wrench, again all just cheap stuff, but inside it's actually quite decent, and it comes in that box. Now that box contains holds these two things plus some gloves, a battery adapter and other bits and pieces, and that actually fits really nicely in the frunk, along with two charging cables, my vehicle to load adapter and a few other bits and pieces. So it's actually a fantastic size. It's not too big. It is quite large, but it does fit in the front of the EV5 nicely. Anyway, so I'll just show you this. I've got the car in accessories mode because that's the only way of getting the 12-volt socket energized. So all you got to do, as per all the other videos you may have already seen, is plug this thing in. The ridiculous red and blue flashing lights come on. I suppose it's a good warning device if you wanted to just throw this out on the road if you can't fix your tire or whatever. I've cheated a little bit. I've already unscrewed this section. This unscrews, and I've put it up to the jack point, as you can see between those lines. Now this whole black assembly goes right through the plastic body and down to the foot. So inside, this plastic is basically just covering the actual hydraulic jack. So that jack goes right through, and is the foot of the jack section is exposed to the ground. Now, which means it's super strong because it's obviously all metal. So the plastic is basically just the clothing that it's wearing. Now I've got this car on my gravel driveway, which sort of replicates a real world situation, I suppose, when you're on the side of a road. This gravel driveway is reinforced, though it's not just gravel. So there is a structure. God, where is it? There's a plastic grid system underneath here somewhere. Oh yeah, there's one of them there. Okay, so all these plastic grids clip together, and it gives the top layer of gravel a lot of strength. So it's not as though it's just loose gravel. So so there's a fair bit of strength in that. It is currently on a slight angle. I'm thinking 5 or 10%. I do have a block behind the back wheel, as you always should if you're jacking things up on an angle, or basically full stop. So yeah, here we go. I'll just start the thing up. So I've got it in jack mode. You flick that switch up and it goes into pump mode. Okay, there's a light system here as well, which turns a light on at the front and a light on at the top, so you can see what you're doing, which is quite clever, but I don't need that at the moment. Now my hands are dirty, great. And then there's a basic up and down. So I've already got this, as you can see, it's loose, but it is touching that the actual body of the car. So here we go. I'll just time it as well. I'll just count it in my head until the wheel totally comes off the ground. So here we go. Okay, that was about 40 seconds, and as you can see, that has lifted the front corner of my very heavy Kia EV5 clear off the ground, so that wheel is now in the air. So what you got to do now is the opportunity to just unplug this. It holds that up, no problem. Of course, with any jack in any scenario, you never ever get under a car without wheel stands, without car stands. But even still, with car stands, just be very, very careful. So I'm staying very clear of that. Now, normally with a wheel brace, you have to crack the nut when the wheel is still on the ground. Otherwise, you just chase yourself around because the wheel's spinning. But with this little bad boy, you don't have to do that. So I'll just show you. You plug this one in as well. Similar situation, hard to do with one hand, but I'll just show you. So that's now in there. I'll plug it all the way in. I've already removed the cover. That just pulls off from the wheel. You get a choice of different size bits in here. So I'll just slide myself up. I'm working in a very confined space here today, but that's life. Okay, so alright, so this thing has basically just got a motor in it, and there's a light at the front, and there is an undo. Oh, I've got my safety thongs there, you can see. It's got a undo and a do up and a tighten, basically, button on the top. So with one hand, I'll just show you. Now it does make a fair bit of noise, okay? So we'll just go to the anti-clockwise. And that's it. That's one. Second one. This thing is ridiculously powerful. I'm very surprised how well it works, and it sure saves mucking around with a wheel brace. Okay, that's 3. That's 4, as you can see. The last one here. we have a wheel off nearly. I'll just clear this out of the way, clear all my other stuff out of the way, the 5 nuts, and I don't even know, this is the first time I've had a wheel off the car, and there you are. So now you'd go through the process of finding the puncture, and with a pair of pliers you would pull the offending item out, nail or screw normally, and then you'd use your puncture repair kit. You can buy branded ones like Slime. I've used those before. You can just buy generic ones, and they work just as well. You use a special glue. You always follow the instructions on those things, and plug it up, put the power back into the jack unit, start the compressor, pump the tyre back up, and once you're happy that the tyre is holding air, you would obviously use the jack again in the other mode, the Titan mode, throw the wheel back on, lower the car, and off you go. So there you go. I'll just show you inside this box. There's really nothing much to see. There's an emergency window glass breaking tool with a belt cutting tool in there. There's the power adapter up the top, pair of white gloves. Everything sort of sits in here nicely. On the bottom of it is an emergency reflective triangle and some Velcro. So if you were to put it in a carpeted space, that would stick to the carpet. Nice little feature. And that's the front, very generic looking Chinese sticker. Now I think I got this one off eBay for, I think it was about $146. And there are others that are worth a lot more, but to be honest, having a very close look at them all, they all seem very suspiciously similar to this one, the cheapest one. So I think people are just using these cheaper ones and then selling them with a brand name on them. So yeah, fantastic little bit of kit this. So hope you've enjoyed this little mini review, and I think this is a winner going forward. So I will transfer my puncture repair kit over to the EV5, and with this electric jack, I shouldn't have any dramas or any need to call roadside assist or any need to fill my wheel up with goop and then have to pay for it in other ways later on. Alright guys, see ya.